Hello everyone, this is Gary here. Today we're going to talk about Triumph Trident 2023. This is the latest motorcycle I bought in beautiful orange color. Uh, Basically, this is a brand new bike. Why? When I bought it, only 164 kilometers. Right now on the clock, 253. It's a beautiful bike. Today we will discuss what this bike basically is, right? The features of the bike and what are the changes if you want to buy a brand new versus 2023 if you're getting a good deal, right? So 2023, it was released in 2021, and then they made some changes in 2025, and then they made some further changes in 2026. As you already know, if you have seen my previous video about Yamaha Bolt, if you do not, you can always go back to my channel and see it. So I had Yamaha Bolt. I sold it for pretty cheap, only 1453 kilometers, right? But I just wanted to let go and try something else. So today we are going to talk about Triumph Trident 2023 model, right? So let's jump in. And so as you can see, first of all, very beautiful color, orange color. This tank is a plastic tank, right? This one. And if you will see, the display is TFT and LCD, right? It's a very awesome display to watch, to see, right? And the menu buttons are over here. 253 kilometers. This ABS light will blink for some time and then it will go off once you will start driving. So this bike is 660 cc, and this is a liquid cool engine, right? As you can see, the radiator is over here. It's a liquid cool engine, right? Other thing is this bike has ABS, Nissan brakes caliper, and there are two disc brakes on the front and at the back as well. The shocks are Showa shock, both in the front and the back. So now the biggest change in 2026 model is both the shocks are adjustable at the front and at the back. These ones are not adjustable at all, but they're pretty good shocks for, and they're inverted shock, as you can see. They're pretty good for a naked sports bike. Some people call it sports bike, some people call it naked bike. Yeah, it basically fits in the naked category. 81 PS bhp, for 20 up to 2025. The brand new 2026 is 91 bhp. I will give you the exact specs in a second. Otherwise, if you will see, when I bought this bike a week ago, this was listed on marketplace for $8,800. You can put in the comments that what is the best price of this bike for only 164 kilometers. The first service has been done through Triumph dealer. They charge 391 to the person who basically bought it. There were few scratches here and there because I think it was a fall. If you can see here, this is the biggest scratch, and that's why I negotiated the price a little bit. So this is the alternator on this side. So I already looked into it. What is the best possible way to do it? There were few scratches over here which is sanded and it's clean. But this scratch, basically you got only two options. One is you replace this alternator cover, right? You need to take these screws down. The second option is you can put a aftermarket plastic cover on it, but it's not bothering me much, so should not be a problem. Now if I have to, let me show you the bike from little closer, right? So let's see a little bit here. These are the Nissan brakes, right? Brake caliper and Showa shocks, right? Let me show you the TFT display. So first of all, this is to turn key on and off, right? This is on position, and if you want to lock, the lock position is this and this, right? And the third one is basically your parking brakes. If you'll see here, parking brake, right? So what it do is, if you turn it this on, the light will be, front light will be on, and even the brake light will be on as well, right? So accidentally do not, if you're purchasing this one, or if you have this bike, so you probably know about it. So always keep in lock position until you want to have the parking brake on, right? So in lock position you cannot move the handlebar, right? You turn it off, and this is on position. So the biggest change, let's talk about the change in 2023, from 2021 until 2025, right? The biggest change in this bike is the BHP. First of all, as you can see, this is triple cylinder, right? Three cylinders over here, three exhaust over here, right? It's triple cylinder, and the exhaust is pretty awesome, right? So the biggest change right now in 2026 model is They have like the BHP is 91. How they improved the BHP is basically, I think, putting the new piston, right, increasing the capacity. And other thing is, they have changed the manifold as well, right? This one has basically a single exhaust system, and those has triple exhaust system, right? Other details, let's dive into it. First of all, if you will see, let me explain a bike a little bit more. This is the exhaust system, right? I like it. Some people change it to aftermarket, right? Which you can do if you want to increase the sound. So I have taken over my old bag from my Yamaha Bolt, right? This I have mounted it like with ties and stuff underneath, which is pretty good, right? It is a good storage bag. You can put your gloves in, your shades in, right? It's a pretty good bag. So other thing is, some people do the tail tidy thing, because if you can see the number plate, everything is coming from this arm over here. Some people like it, some don't, but for now I think I will keep it as it is. I will not mess with it, right? Other thing is, this is the rear shock, which is not adjustable. Like, you can adjust the stiffness of it, but you cannot adjust the rebound, right? In the new one, you can even adjust the rebound for it, right? So that's one thing. This one is the lock key to take the seat off, right? And if you want to check the fuses and stuff which is under the seat, you can do that, right? Other thing is, I don't know why they put chrome over here. Not a fan of chrome, because the bike is mostly black. But I think they're a hit and miss. Some people like it, some don't, right? Other thing is, in the new bike, in 2025, they introduced the quick shifter. As you can see, this is a normal rod, so no quick shifter in this one, right? Other thing is, this bike lacks cruise control, which I think is a must accessory if you're going on long rides and long on the highway and stuff. This bike is liquid cooled, so you can see the reservoir for coolant is over here, right, and the coolant tube is over here, right, and yeah, so they are all interconnected. That's one thing. Let me show you. First of all, beautiful bike. See over here, it's pretty beautiful, damn beautiful bike. Other thing is, yeah, so dipstick is right here. A small little dipstick, but in order to, you can check the fuel level and everything from here. But in order to check the fuel level, you need to keep it upright. This is your brake, rear brake lever. Pretty awesome, pretty decent for whatever it is, for get the job done. So now this tank is plastic. I actually don't mind it, and there are cutouts which which if you're putting your legs over here, right, they fit in pretty nicely. So the gas tank is pretty good. First of all, some people complain about it, but I think it's awesome. Now this Triumph thing is not painted; these are stickers. I think that's the way it should be. I'm not sure about this paint. Some people say the paint is bad, but for me, it seems more like plastic, like engraved, kind of like the color of the plastic, right? As it is. As you can see in the Trident logo, there's a Trident in it already, right? So now let's talk about the you know differences, right? Let me put my camera down and let me tell you like what exactly are the differences, right? In 20, when you compare, so I will compare three models. So from 2021 till 2025, it's the same model, right? Till 2024, you can say, because 2025 is a different model, right? And then 2026 is also a different model. So first of all, 2021 to 2024, it got 81 PS, or you can say 80 bhp, 80 horsepower, right? Now that 80 horsepower is at 10,250 rpm. That's number one thing. And 2025 model is the same, right? But that rpm will bump to, if you're taking the brand new 2026, will bump to 94 hp. But then it's a high revving engine, right? So at the rate of 1100 250 rpm, right? So peak torque. So let's torque is also very important. So Yamaha Bolt, if I'm not wrong, was around 60 nanometer of torque, and this guy is around the same 64. But as you know, sports bike are a little different, right? So the torque definitely will be little different. 64 nanometer of torque at the rate, but then at 6250 rpm. That's very important. Why? because the brand new model 2026, so until 2025 it's same. So the torque is same, the peak power is same until 2025, right? But 2026 model has 68 nanometer, but then at 80 to 50 RPM, 8,250 RPM. Why? Because it's a high revving engine, right? And so engine red line is also very important. Red line means like, how far you can rev it. So 2021 to 2025 even it's same, 10,500 is the red line. But in basically 2026 you can go all the way to 12,650 RPM, right? So it's an increase of 20% roughly. Now let's talk about the main important thing which basically changed in 2026. So first of all, throttle body, right? This guy has, if you will see, this guy has single, throttle body over here, right? If you'll go check, it's a single throttle body inside, right? Single throttle body over here, right? Which is I think 38 mm to be precise. And that single throttle body, basically I think is electronic controlled, and it gives you a peak torque of 60, sorry, peak torque of I think 64, right? Yeah. So in order to increase the bhp and torque, the other big factor is technically they did three individual in 2026. Until 2025, it's one single 38 mm throttle body. But in 2026 model, it's three individual, like all three of them on all three cylinders. They have throttle bodies for, and the board is also 44 mm, right? So that technically explains itself that why the bhp is little more, right? Now let's talk about some electronic changes. So first of all, now 2021 to 2024, which this model is standard ABS basic traction. But in 2025 model, so in 2025 model, it's six-axis IMU cornering ABC and the control, like the traction control, right? And the same thing for 2026. So they made a change in 2025 model about the ABS cornering. So which means if you are going on track and stuff, right, it will be better with the 2025 and 2026. But I think for daily, use, your ABS is still good. And if you're in a rain mode, I think technically it adjusts the traction control, so you should be good to go. Right now, riding modes. So this bike has rain mode and road mode, right? And if you will take 2025 onwards, it is they added another mode which is rain, road, and sports mode, right? So three modes instead of two. Now connectivity. So this is very important, right? So first of all, in this one, if you talk about electronics, the number one thing is the first optional accessory module is connectivity. So which means Bluetooth. You can fit Bluetooth on this model, which I think roughly is around $300 to $400, but it comes standard with 2025 and 2026 model. Now, what this Bluetooth module can do, first of all, you can connect your phone. You will get an app, Triumph app, right, which will tell you the fuel and this and that, the battery. And it comes as a navigation as well. Like you can turn on and off the navigation. Like you can, it will give you directions on the screen as well, which is a pretty handy, neat feature. Now, front suspension on 2020 till from 2021 to 2024 model is 41 mm SFF forks, right? Standard, like which inverted forks. But you know, I think they changed it to big piston, right? Not standard. They changed it to BP big piston basically from 2025 and 2026 model. That's one change. Second, the rear suspension is only preload. As I told you, the rear suspension, right, is you can only adjust this over here, right? This you can adjust. It's only preload, but there is no settings for rebound. On basically the monoshock, you can do rebound in 2026 only, right? Not even in 2025. That's one thing. Second is the frame. So this frame basically, this frame we are talking about, this one, right? This frame, this one, right? This frame is a steel frame, right? This is steel frame, and the perimeter of this frame is same thing, right? Like the original steel perimeter, right? But in basically 2026 model, they widened this frame, even though it's still what do you call it, like the steel frame, but the I think they elongated a little bit, they broadened it a little bit, but they made few changes in 2026 model, right? Ergonomics, 795 bars, right? Single piece seat. So this is also very important, guys. 850 bars, wide two pieces. Okay, okay, single piece seat. Okay, this is important. So first of all, the handlebars, right? They increased the little bit the length of these handlebars in 2026 model. Until 2025 they're saying. Now this seat, technically this seat is a single seat. Ergonomically I like it better, but from, if you want, like, from action point of view, like, from if passenger is sitting at the back, then I think this is not the best one. But setup in 2026, they have, there is a, what do you call it, like they separated these two things, right? And there's a different one. Now one interesting thing about the seats, see my hand, see the flex in this leather, or what type of this PU material, like this. So this never feels planted. This is like this, right? So I don't know what it is, but yeah, so this is one thing to consider. But otherwise, this belt makes sense. It's a differentiating factor that this belongs to pillion rider. This is the driver. But otherwise, not a bad seat. If you will ask me, comfort, not bad, not very comfortable, but still okay, right? Now let's talk about the weight. The weight of 2021 till 2025, 2024, sorry, is 189 kg or 416 libs. 2025 is 1 kg, heavier, 190 kg, and 2026 onwards, it's 6 kg heavier than 2021 model. It's at 195 kg. So these were the primary changes, right? If you will ask me. So if you will ask me, whether it's good buy for 2023 model, two things basically I think I would like to add, which would be cruise control. That's number one, and then quick shifter. Now, quick shifter, I have mixed reviews. So, quick shifter will go over here. If you will see, right, it will go over here. Quick shifter. Some people said, really makes this bike really fun to drive and stuff, right? I actually tried this bike, right, because I've driven almost like now 120-30 kilometers. I don't see any problem. The gear shift is smoother, even without clutch. You can still, like, same thing, like, quick shifter. You can, without even pulling the clutch off, you can change gears like upward of two, third, second, and fourth, right? Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, six gears in total. One down, and rest everything is up, right? Now, if some of you are thinking, from where does the 2026 changes are coming from? They're coming from Daytona, right? Daytona, because they have another bike with the fairings, with the sports bike. If you know Triumph Daytona, right? So the engine changes and everything, they're coming from Daytona in 2026 model. Exactly the same kind of hardware or and the engine things, right? So if you will ask me, is it a good buy? Two things I might miss will be, or maybe one thing I might miss will be cruise control, right? But I already made some changes, or you can say I have put a manual or some kind of cruise control, which I will show you in quickly right now. But otherwise, I think this bike is plenty good power for the weight ratio. Power to weight ratio is pretty good. It handles pretty good. This color, the orange color, is only available in this year, model year. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe in 2024 as well, but I have seen only 2023 so far. Maybe in England, I think I've seen one 2024 with this color, but overall in Canada and US, I'm in Canada first of all, so I've never seen the other color, right? So if you'll ask me, so you have to tell me in comments. You can put in comments like, this bike was listed for $8,800. 2026, I asked the dealer how much it will be. Before, with the taxes in, it was around 14,000 and something, right? Without taxes, it was, I think, $12,800 with their fees and stuff, right? With destination charge. So you tell me in comments, what is the best price for this brand new bike? Why I say brand new? The first service was done, but the kilometers on the bike was 164. This was a lady driven, or maybe not driven, you can say lady owned bike. Technically, she was driving a Vespa before this, right? 50cc. and she wanted to try something like, little heavier, or little into bike. But I think she tripped it twice, I think, on both, in one side and on left and right, in the garage, right? That's what she explained me. I don't know what the real thing is, but I don't see any other damage on the bike, so probably I have to believe her. But that's the reason she sold it, right? And that's the reason she sold it technically. But if you will ask me, this bike is for 164 kilometers. I paid something, which I will tell you in comments as well. But guess it, how much it is, how much is the best price. She was asking $8,800, which I think is a fair price for this bike. Why? Because they're mostly listed with 8,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers for almost 9 grand, right? So I don't have to pay dealer fees, but I have to pay taxes, which is 12% in BC, right? So just let me know. Now let me show you. Let me give you some. Tell you how, show you how the engine sound and everything. So first of all, let's turn it on. Right now, first thing is you need to hold the clutch in order to start this bike. That's one thing you need. Let me ride it a little bit. Yeah, just give me 1 second, guys. Let me start it, and I will get back to you. That sounds really nice. And as you can see, I fluctuate a little bit for initially, right? And then it will go back to normal. So let me go a little far so that that's how it looks. That's my bicycle at the back. Pretty sweet looking bike. I will make few changes to this bike afterwards. The first change I made is put this bag on, right? Pretty good looking bike, right? So this says next service interval 2027. Or 15911 kilometers. So right now on the clock is 253 kilometers, right? That's a fuel gauge. Sometimes it will not show up until you have driven the bike, but mostly it will come up there. This is the menu options, right? So you can click the menu over here. You can see, right, different menus over there. Main menu. If you want to go into main menu, you need to click this button, right? And then it will give you all the riding modes. Riding modes, you can see rain, road, right? I will do road over here, press OK, right? ABS, road, OK, makes sense. And then go back from here. And then bike setup you can do, flip setup you can do, display setup you can do, brightness you can increase the TFT display, visible praise you can change the visible praise, shift indicator, right? Language, units, you can do units and either you know miles or MPG. I have done it on kilometer, liter per 100, which is basically standard for Canadian, right? Pressure monitoring, you can set the units, PSI or bar, or in my case I set it PSI for now. Clock you can change, date you can change. So these are the settings which you can always do, right? Or you can restore to default. It's a pretty good one. And once the Bluetooth module is there, right, this ABS light will blink as long as you have not So see, this now RPM is now normal, right? It's not blinking anymore, right? So this ABS light will go off once you start driving, and the speed will increase to 10 kilometers. So let's rev it a little bit. So I will show you one more thing. See, it's blinking. So because it's still in its braking period, if you go beyond 4,000 RPM, it will start blinking and it will give you kind of, that you're not supposed to technically take it after above 4,000 RPM. Let's close it off. Sorry, I have to kill the switch, but accidentally I pulled this one out, right? Which is okay for now. This is the fuel tank. So any questions, ask me in comments, right? Let's see how this bike fares. And before this, I had a Yamaha, right? Other thing is, if you can see, there are two beauties sitting in the driveway. This is the most controversial EV right now, and this is my second same Dodge Daytona Charger EV, right? Look at the tire. Look at the width of the tire. See, right? So this is the most controversial EV, and they have taken the basically 2024 model, right? The sticker price on this guy is $108,000. So it got scat pack, it got every single feature. But the problem is they have so many glitches, right? That they gave me a new one after driven the 5,000 kilometers on the previous car. They were having so many glitches. They gave me a new one, and guess what? This is approximately giving me the same kind of issues, right? But so far now it's behaving pretty good after having so many software updates and stuff. But still, once in a while, it will give me some error codes. So the next review is coming for this guy, right? So stay tuned. This is my other my truck 2024 also, the highest tremor package 402A. Right now, if you will say, it is having 20,000 kilometers on the clock. So the next review will be coming for this guy. Beautiful sky out there, right? Um, so thank you very much for, if you have seen so far my video, thank you very much. I'm new to this, right? And this is a single short video, no cut, nothing. So no cap cut, if you will say, for now. But I will try to, do better in the coming, months and weeks. So yeah. So guys, thank you very much. I will summarize, wrap it up, right? And please tell me in comments how you like this bike. Maybe I will change the mirrors to bar mirrors on the side mirrors, right? Maybe. But for now, I'm trying to save some money, not to spend some money on this bike anymore until, I have put some kilometers on it. So thank you very much, guys, right? Really appreciate. And that's it. So hope you like this video, and please put in your comments, right? That was loud. One of those Harleys, right? So this is bike season, people driving bike. And one more thing. So just want to touch base on this guy. So this is the charger of my EV. I installed it myself, so I will even put a video for you, right? How to do it yourself. If you have some handyman experience in electrician, I have technically worked as an electrician as well. So that's why I did it. Otherwise, if you have no ideas, then don't try it. Thank you very much, guys. Have a good one. Enjoy your life. Life is too short to be boring and at the same time stressful. So there are so many things in life, but going on. But life will keep going. So enjoy it till the last moment. And thank you very much. Have a good one.